The F-22 Raptor was built for one singular purpose: to dismantle near-peer militaries and clear the skies of enemy fighters. It is the absolute apex predator of the air. But in the freezing skies of February 2023, the world's most lethal stealth fighter was ordered to intercept something that completely defied classification. For 3 years, the Pentagon kept the tactical realities of those intercepts locked behind the highest levels of classification. The public was fed a convenient story about weather balloons. But as of May 2026, the vault has been blown wide open. A massive, unprecedented declassification of military files has just revealed the unvarnished truth about the F-22's bizarre intercepts. And the raw data shows that the US military is dealing with a threat far more complex and far scarier than anyone wanted to admit. Welcome to Jet Insight. To understand exactly what the F-22 locked its targeting sensors onto, we have to look at the unprecedented political move that just forced the military to show its hand. For decades, data on unidentified anomalous phenomena was buried deep within highly compartmentalized defense programs. Pilots who reported anomalies were ignored. Sensor data was heavily classified just to protect the capabilities of the radar systems themselves. But on May 8, 2026, the Department of War fundamentally altered the landscape. They launched Pursue, the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System, for UAP encounters. This wasn't a leak by a rogue whistleblower. It was an executive mandate for maximum transparency, involving the DoD, FBI, and NASA. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth made the mission clear. The Department of War is in lockstep with President Trump to bring unprecedented transparency regarding our government's understanding of unidentified, anomalous phenomena. The sheer volume of this release is staggering. 162 records dropped immediately, followed by an even more explosive tranche of 64 files on May 22nd. We are talking about raw mission reports, infrared targeting footage, and historical case files. When independent defense analysts reviewed this raw data, the narrative shifted. The presence of physical trace evidence and transmedium capabilities pushed the threat assessment into the compelling category, officially crossing a 61% confidence threshold for non-human intelligence. But the most highly scrutinized files in this massive release center around a chaotic 3-day span in February 2023, when America's premier stealth fighters were sent into active combat over North America. We all remember the February 4th destruction of the Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina. That event was highly publicized. What happened next was entirely different and far more secretive. On February 10th, an F-22 flying out of Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson tracked a high-altitude object hovering over the Beaufort Sea off the coast of Alaska. It was cylindrical, silverish gray, and completely lacked any visible means of propulsion or flight control surfaces. The Raptor destroyed it with an AIM-9X Sidewinder. The very next day, the operational tempo escalated. Another F-22 crossed into Canadian airspace to hunt a target over the Yukon Territory, officially designated in secret defense memos as UAP-23. Thanks to a declassified September 2024 image obtained by Canadian media, we know exactly what the military was looking at. It wasn't a standard balloon. According to an internal memo from a Canadian brigadier general, it was a cylindrical object with a metallic top quarter and the rest of it white, featuring a distinct package suspended by a 20-foot wire. Think about the profound tactical mismatch here. The US military deployed a $140 million Mach 2 stealth fighter to hunt an object drifting on wind currents. It exposes a massive blind spot in how North America polices its own airspace. While the F-22s were securing the frozen north, an F-16 was scrambling over the Great Lakes, resulting in the most explosive piece of targeting footage in the entire Pursue archive. On February 12th, the theater of operations shifted. A pair of F-16 CM Vipers from the Minnesota Air National Guard were vectored toward a slow-moving anomaly at 20,000 feet over Lake Huron. Thanks to the May 22nd Pursue release, we finally have the declassified 46-second infrared targeting video of this exact engagement. Looking through the HUD, the sensor locks onto a contrasted, diamond-shaped anomaly right in the center of its field of view. The pilot unleashes an AIM-9X Sidewinder, an advanced heat-seeking thrust-vectored missile. The moment of impact is explicitly recorded. The official Department of War video description states that the initial subject fragmented in a radial displacement pattern that suggests a high-energy event. Now the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office eventually assessed that this specific object was highly likely a balloon with a dangling line. But that doesn't erase the terrifying operational reality of the situation. The sheer volume of military resources expended on these objects over a 72-hour period represented a catastrophic vulnerability in North American domain awareness. We were shooting blind. But if you think that F-16 footage proves the military is just shooting down rogue weather balloons, you haven't looked at the terrifying Tier 1 files hidden deeper inside the Pursuit database. Before we dive deeper, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. Now, let's look at the real, undeniable threat. The files that AARO absolutely cannot explain away are the ones that should keep defense planners awake at night. We are talking about capabilities that shatter current paradigms of physics. Release 02 included a heavily scrutinized 20/22 video captured near a US submarine. The footage documents spherical objects executing transmedium travel, transitioning seamlessly from the sky directly into the ocean. There is no splash, no cavitation, no observable deceleration. Human engineering currently possesses no mechanism to mitigate fluid density transitions in this manner. Then there is the late 2025 operational report. A highly credible U.S. intelligence officer flying in a helicopter watched two massive glowing orange orbs with white centers actively chase military fighter jets. Rather than drifting on the wind or executing pre-programmed evasion, these objects displayed reactive, predatory pursuit behavior, eventually forming a distinct triangle pattern before vanishing. And this isn't just a modern software glitch. Historical case files from 1948 to 1950 in Sandia, New Mexico, document green orbs infiltrating top-secret nuclear facilities. Crucially, investigators at the time recovered physical trace evidence from where the orbs had hovered or exploded, specifically copper powder residue. Whether these are black-budget adversary drones or something else entirely, they are operating with absolute impunity inside restricted American battle space, outmaneuvering our best hardware. Not everyone in the defense and scientific communities is ready to accept that our airspace has been fundamentally compromised. We have to acknowledge the clutter reality. After the Chinese balloon incident, NORAD upgraded its radar gating to look for slower-moving targets. Suddenly, the military was seeing thousands of mundane objects, hobby balloons, weather sensors, and commercial drones, that had previously been filtered out as background noise. Furthermore, despite 222 files being dumped into the public domain, there is zero documented recovery of biological entities or alien alloys in the Pursuit database. The Pentagon strictly categorizes these encounters as unresolved, not extraterrestrial. Prominent astrophysicists and skeptics point out that sensor artifacts, cosmic rays, and simple misidentification account for the vast majority of these reports. As Neil deGrasse Tyson bluntly stated, in the history of science, the correct explanation has never been magic or aliens, ever. But relying on the balloon excuse ignores the fundamental reality faced by the highly trained fighter pilots pulling Gs trying to intercept them. The F-22 Raptor was built to dominate Soviet interceptors and dismantle Chinese stealth jets. Now its pilots are being vectored to intercept targets that don't have wings, engines, or heat signatures. The Pursuit declassification proves that the U.S. military is taking this seriously, whether it is a highly classified Chinese surveillance swarm exploiting our blind spots or an unknown intelligence. The skies have fundamentally changed. The era of dismissing UAPs is officially over. Think about the strategic reality we face today. If an F-22 can shoot down an anomalous cylinder over the Yukon, but a glowing orb can effortlessly outmaneuver a fighter jet over the ocean, who really controls the airspace? America's pilots will continue to fly into the unknown, confronting the impossible to protect this nation. If this deep dive opened your eyes to the terrifying new reality of American air defense, hit the like button and make sure you are subscribed to Jet Insight. Type secure in the comments if you support our pilots flying these dangerous intercept missions. We will see you in the next one.